let's get into it. It's the Penrite Oil Sandown 500 Friday press conference, so that means that everyone gets to bring a +1 for this one. And well done to the fellas in the middle topping today's session, and a lot of quick cars out there as well. So let's just start with the Erebus boys. And Jack, your thoughts off the back of a fast Friday here and some pretty quick lap times, particularly the early part of that session.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we had a pretty solid run, and the car's doing what it's supposed to do, and Juice doing a really good job. So I actually wasn't driving; it was Juice. That money's steering. No, it was a solid day for us. Yeah, Juice had a really good run on the average tyres we had this morning, so I had a little bit of a hiccup with that, so it was a bit entertaining. But no, it was a really solid day. The guys doing an awesome job, and even with Brody and Toddles, it's been really good. Like that test day we had last week was really positive for us, and got a lot from it. It's one of those things you feel like you find something at Winton, but you got to translate it to other joints. So that's always a question mark, and it's been solid for us so far.
Jayden, your day and how you've been fitting into Erebus so far?
Yeah, it's been good. Car's been a little bit different to the MSR and the 888 philosophy, so it's been a little bit of adapting to that. But as Jack said, we had a really good test day last week. Just did practice 2 today. But car was good. Happy with the race pace and everything, so looking good.
So did you drive the car at all outside of practice 2?
No.
Just practice 2?
Nah. With the rain, looks like it's coming tomorrow. We sort of thought probably best that Jack works on a bit of balance and quality, because we might not get that opportunity tomorrow.
Good idea. We'll take it over to the fellas over this side of the room. Andre, very quick earlier today in that second practice session with your buddy behind the wheel. So it looks like the BGR cars rolled out pretty good today. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, fair statement. So much like them, we had 2 test days. So yeah, it was really good. Got to work on some stuff, and really happy. It's not often you roll out the truck and it's quite good, and you can just work on driving and chipping away. So it's been quite good so far.
Decker, how are you finding life at BJR? It looked like for you in that second session today, it's just a cool opportunity to show the speed is well and truly alive.
Yeah, it's been really good so far. Just adapting back to the Camaras has been nice, and being partnered with T8 as well, and back with those type of philosophies, and just learning the cars again. So far so good. We'll just keep working together. Andre and I are very similar with how we like the car set up, so that's just one box ticked, and we'll just keep pressing on.
Well done. Good to see you in the R&J colours here this weekend, mate. Will, just your day in the 87. Take your pick, mate. You've rocked up with a pretty fast co-driver as well, so topping that second practice session. You got your teammate in the top 5 with you there, so the 888 car's pretty well sorted this weekend?
Yeah, the car's been really good. It was a bit hard after the practice 2. They said if I don't go P1, Scott's in for the rest of the year, so I'm out, I guess. But no, he's done a really good job. Obviously, Scott, coming out of main game last year and being strong in that last year, he's going to do a good job. So it's pretty much what we expected of him. But the car's really strong, and that's allowing us to be up the front. So it's a really positive when you roll out of the trailer, like these guys said down here. Strong, it makes your weekend a fair bit easier.
Scott, how have you found, you had the test days and plenty of time earlier in the year to settle in at 888, obviously been there many years ago, but now you're back in event mode with them. What have you seen through their eyes today, just being in the garage, driving the car, the way they operate?
It's not really any different. The intent that they take to a test day is very similar to what they arrive here with. So that was something I tried to emphasise, whether it was through like the pod or anyone I spoke to in media land, that was the impressive thing. And it's, whether it was even the pit stop practice with myself and Will and the driver changes we did, the intent behind them, it was no different to what we're going to experience on Sunday. So today is just a refreshing day for me to be back in the car, back in an event. I love practice 1, being around other cars again. It was really good fun. And I'm just looking forward to the weekend. It's a long way to go, but we're off to a good start.
Beautiful. All right. There's a quick word from all 6, and now I can open it up to the journos in the room. Thank you.
And Scott, I guess you're leading the co-driver cup as the unofficial...
free beer for it or something, is there?
Good to just be out there and, be able to show that pace.
Yeah, of course. It's like, you come here and that's your intent, is to try and be at the top of the times at the end of the co-driver practice, and just because it's not necessarily trying to beat all the other co-drivers, that is our race. So you want to be quick. The race run we did was tough. We didn't run any tyres through P1, so I ran the same through P2 as well. So I think our race pace was quite strong, and that was great for me to just see how the car was going to evolve. But then, to get one lap at the end of the session was cool, and that was kind of my goal coming in, was to be the quickest in my session, and be able to as well give some feedback at the end of the session across what was effectively a little quali sim for me, and also a race run that will hopefully contribute to a good package on Sunday for our car.
Declan, I guess when you mention Triple Eight philosophies and whatnot, I guess can you expand on that a bit?
Yeah, it's actually funny listening to that because we had basically the exact same run plan and stuff. So it's more just the way that go about racing and stuff, the way that the car's set up, way that we sort of like to operate our race runs and things like that, and the stuff that Andre works on outside of the car as well. So it's good to be back in that environment and just learning off of these guys, and hopefully next year get back in it.
I guess for the three co-drivers, are you happy being co-drivers? Is that a full-time seat something that is of interest?
Don't think about taking more.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard Will earlier, but I've got the seat for the rest of the year. So he had one job, and that was to top the times, and he didn't. So Jack's beaten him. But no, I think for me it's a breath of fresh air. Like there was no denying I was not in a happy place, and I didn't look forward to going to the racetrack anymore. So for me, it's exciting to be revitalised and feel like I'm happy to go back, and I'm just loving being around this team. And one thing is, like, if an opportunity does come up, it would have to be the right one for me. Like, I'm not in a position now where I'm just desperate to get back in. Like, I look at what's up and down the grid, and if an opportunity came up and I thought it was good, then of course you'd consider it. But right now, I'm very happy, and it's Sandown and then Bathurst for me. I've wanted to win that race forever, and Sandown equally contributes 300 points to the championship for Will, so that's my main focus right now.
What about you?
Yeah, probably similar to Scott for different reasons. Like obviously been doing a fair bit of GT racing this year, which has been quite cool and enjoyable. And I think there's possibly a bit more to come in that space over the next few weeks. So it'd have to be the right opportunity for a full-time drive to sort of progress down that option. It's not sort of maybe a different position to where I was a few years ago, where that was what I was hell bent on. But the GT options definitely opened up a few different doors and avenues.
Yeah, my main intent is to get back in main game. I feel like given the right environment, especially this weekend, I feel like we've already been able to show what sort of capable of. So if I can get back in the main game in the right team, right environment, I'm pretty excited to get cracking on it.
And just to Jack, you guys have probably, I think, Darwin, Townsville, and Tassie sort of been building. Do you feel like you're in a spot where you guys can genuinely, compete to win here, especially after a good Friday?
I hope so. Yeah, I'll let you know come Sunday night. But no, 100%. I think just been working through it all, and I think it's one of those things when you come into a team with a new engineer and different philosophy to what I've been used to for many years. It's been a little bit for me to adjust to, but it's been good. We're definitely finding our feet and understanding how each other works. But we're having a good run at the moment. We'll keep chipping away, and hope you don't break your phone, mate. So it's been really positive. We're enjoying it. We're having a good run, and Drew's doing a good job. So you never know this weekend, but we'll just keep doing our thing.
Very good. I've got one for all the drivers. I'll aim it first at Scott Pye, though. Obviously, this weekend we're celebrating 60 years of racing here at Sandown. I know for you, Scott, you came here back in 2003 as a kid, so plenty of fond memories, as I'm sure for most of you guys. There's been a lot of talk about the Supercars calendar and even where this track is going to be in the next few years. There could be the potential of only having one Victorian round next year. What are your thoughts on that first, Scott? And what do the guys have to say about racing here at Sandown?
Yeah, I think good pickup. 2003 was a very special one for me. It was the first and only supercar event I attended as a spectator. I was actually in a wheelchair after my car accident, sitting in the grandstand. It was the year the weather was so bad, and I had steel rods hanging out my toes in the cold. I ended up actually having to leave halfway through the race, but it was just a fantastic memory of mine, and it's something that's kept Sandown very fond with me, just being able to attend that race with my dad as a spectator, and then being able to race here so many times. And it's one of my favourite tracks. So we do track walk, and you look at how much the circuit's deteriorated, but it's one of the things that adds character here. And there's tracks, in the UK, Alton Park was one of my favourites, and it's sort of similar where it's a high-risk track, and that's what drivers feel the most reward out of. You do a quality lap around here, and it is rewarding. You get a bit of the adrenaline rush. But then even for the spectators, I think it's a really cool circuit. There's a great viewing here. But ultimately, it has been here a long time, and things do come to an end. So I'm not sure what the future holds. I'd love to see it stick around for as long as we can drive cars here, but ultimately it's not up to us. But I do really enjoy this place. I wish this weekend was a retro round. I think our cars now would really suit the old liveries, and it just adds a little bit as well. It's another talking point for the category. The teams get involved. It means a lot to them. There's some special people in the pit lane, like Robbie Starr when I was at Walkinshaw. I ran the 94 livery and he was number one mechanic on that car. So there's just a lot of good memories for people, and I think it would be cool to honour that into the future if we get another opportunity here to run again.
Yeah, anyone else have any comments about potentially the final race here?
Yeah, I don't have the memories go back as far as Scott, but obviously, yeah. I think my first time here was probably 2015 or 16. But the biggest thing for me, I think it takes Sweet F all to run a retro round at the end of the day. I don't know why we're not doing that. It was so cool coming here back in 2017, 18, being part of even Erebus. They used to do great old liveries, and I think it just added such an element to this event. You would see people turn up. I remember 888 back in the day with the nice jackets, the little hats, and it was really cool. And I think Sandown's missing that. It would have been awesome to have that this year. And for the more budget teams, it's only a livery. You don't have to do merch and that. So I'd love to see that come back. And even if Sandown's off the calendar, I'd love to see it come back somewhere else, because I think it's just a great part of the year to be involved in that in previous years.
And just quickly on tyre deg, we talked about the surface here. How do you think tyre deg's going to play into the strategy on Sunday?
Tyre what?
Will doesn't have any tyre degs. Never seen it before.
Deg here is big. We talked about the surface, and it is abrasive. Even the parts that are newer than others is really exposed now. So it's kind of like working out what your ideal lap time is to start a stint, and then trying to manage it as best you can from there. But yeah, I'm sure no one knows that one. But yeah, it's I still think ultimately you need to qualify well and try and get clean air around here, because it is a tricky place to pass. But yeah, you can't avoid it. Deg's high here. You just need a fast car, and then you can hopefully be in clean air and look after it. Plan is to neg deg though. I don't know about you guys.
Try not to deg and then block if you are. That's about all you can do.
Hang on to the wheel.
One for Will. How are you feeling in your position at the top of the standings? Are you starting to feel a little bit more pressure with Chaz having closed that margin to 80-odd points now?
Oh, I'd rather be in the lead than anywhere else, that's for sure. So we're in a great position. Obviously, Chaz done a fantastic job in the last couple of rounds. But, at Tasmania, I feel like things didn't go our way Saturday with the red flag, and then we beat him on Sunday and had genuine pace. We know we can be right up there and win races. We've just got to execute. So, it's going to be a great end of the year. But no, I wouldn't say, I think the championships, you don't know until after Sandown Bathurst. There's no point putting too much emphasis on it yet, or focusing too much on that, because these are the big races, and anyone could get a DNF or anything like that. So we just focus on what we're doing for these next 2 rounds, and then I think after Bathurst is when you'll probably put a bit more emphasis and start thinking about the championship a lot.
Bit of talk about the weather tomorrow, obviously. So just, Andre, you won a wet race in, in New Zealand this year. How do you feel about heading into potentially wet qualifying tomorrow?
Yeah, hopefully it pisses down. So we'll see. But who knows? It's Melbourne. So I lived here for 9 years, and who knows? No one even knows what's going to happen. So it probably will be wet tomorrow at some stage. But whether it's wet for qualifying, who knows? But this track's, as they've said, old school track, so in the wet it's actually very sketchy. I'm not sure how it'll be on these tyres. Probably a lot better than the old compound we had. That was quite sketchy, but nonetheless it'll be exciting viewing, even if it's just practice.
Jack, what do you think about potential wet quality? It's sort of always the way when you've got a quick car on Friday in the dry.
Yeah, it's always the way, isn't it? But no, I was disappointed. Bunnings over the road sold out of gumboots already. So, no, it's cool around here. Like, it's an awesome track. I actually love this track, even in the dry, like in the wet. Yeah, like Andre said, on the old tyre, it was very, very hairy with the 48 different surfaces and curbs and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think like turn 4, for example, every time it rained here, you used to dig out the inside of that curb quite a lot and used to make it quite interesting, and a lot of mud and stuff everywhere. So at least this year with the concrete infill, it's going to be a little bit nicer from that aspect. But no, the rain's cool. It definitely, yeah, you don't know what's going to happen. And I think, yeah, you saw in New Zealand, like the amount of action they created. It was, yeah, it was really cool to see. And
Will, if it rains in the shootout, that's a whole different conversation again, isn't it? That could really shake the grid up.
Yeah, it'll just be make it around the lap really if it rains just for the shootout. But yeah, it's a pretty wild track to race on. I remember back in Formula Ford, I raced here, and that was my first time in the wet, and I left the pits and did about 2 360s at turn 2. So it's pretty slippery. But yeah, obviously, like these guys said, we've got a new tyre. It's a lot more grippy. It makes it a little bit easier, but it is probably, I would say, one of the hardest tracks to race in the wet and qualify. So it'll be fun. It's an awesome track, but yeah, you can easily make a mistake around here, but adds a lot of excitement.
Thank you, everyone, and good luck tomorrow.